match ended 2-2 as Manchester United snatched a dramatic late equalizer through Matthijs de Ligt, denying Tottenham all 3 points in their own backyard. Both sides ultimately had to settle for a share of the spoils. Let's take a closer look at the tactical setup of the game. Rúben Amorim set his side up in a 3-4-3 formation, aiming for control in wide areas and fluid transitions. Meanwhile, Thomas Frank opted for a 4-2-3-1, with Brennan Johnson returning to the starting lineup for the first time in a while, replacing the injured Mohamed Kudus. When Tottenham were in possession, they looked to build up from deep, with goalkeeper Guglielmo Vicario joining the backline to create a temporary back four. Jed Spence was given the license to move into midfield, often positioning himself higher than Tottenham's two pivots, João Palhinha and Pape Sarr, while still maintaining width on the right side. Tottenham's pivots dropped deep to serve as passing options. Pape Sarr played the role of a dynamic midfielder, tasked with progressing play and distributing passes into the final third, while also joining the attack when possible. João Palhinha, on the other hand, acted as the traditional defensive midfielder, breaking up counterattacks and maintaining defensive balance. To counter Tottenham's build-up, Rúben Amorim's men pressed using a hybrid man-to-man and zonal press, aiming to block passing lanes into midfield and force Tottenham to build through the wings, intentionally leaving Pedro Porro free on the flank. The success of the press, however, depended on the individual execution of each player. As seen in one sequence when Vicario received the ball, Amad Diallo moved to press him while blocking the passing lane to Mickey van de Ven. Meanwhile, Matheus Cunha applied no pressure on Christian Romero or João Palhinha, leaving Bruno Fernandes in a difficult position, forced to cover both Palhinha and Sarr at once. Unable to press two players simultaneously, he left a passing route open to Palhinha, allowing Tottenham to easily bypass Manchester United's initial pressing structure. Once the press was broken, Manchester United dropped into a defensive 5-4-1 block, with Noussair Mazraoui and Patrick Dorgu tucking into the backline alongside Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire, and Matthijs de Ligt. Amad Diallo and Bryan Mbeumo dropped into midfield to join Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes, while Matheus Cunha remained as the first line of defense. This structure allowed United to stay compact, close off central passing lanes, and use the back five to pin Tottenham's wide players while still tracking runners in behind. To break through this compact shape, Tottenham tried to match United's numbers in midfield by pushing Jed Spence and Pedro Porro inside to join Palhinha and Sarr, forming a midfield four. Meanwhile, Xavi Simons, Brennan Johnson, Richarlison, and Wilson Odobert operated higher up against United's back five. Their strategy was simple but effective. When the midfield four spread wide, the front four stayed narrow. When the midfield stayed narrow, the front four moved wide. This constant rotation gave United's midfield a real headache. When the midfield stretched, United's midfielders had to decide whether to track the wide players, which would open central spaces, or stay compact and allow Tottenham to progress through the wings. Conversely, when Tottenham's midfield narrowed, the front line stretched the pitch, dragging United's defenders out wide and creating gaps for runners to exploit inside the box. When Manchester United were in possession, they had two distinct approaches to build up play, either using long balls to bypass Tottenham's press or building patiently from the back. When opting to build from the back, United formed a back three while their wing-backs stayed high and wide to stretch the pitch. Tottenham, on the other hand, pressed aggressively, but United cleverly used that intensity to their advantage. The plan was simple. Invite Tottenham's press to create space behind their defensive line for runners to exploit. As seen in one sequence, Tottenham pressed United's backline with Richarlison, Xavi Simons, and Wilson Odobert, attempting to limit their progression. Harry Maguire calmly held onto the ball, baiting Richarlison to step higher and commit to the press. Maguire then passed to Luke Shaw, who did the same on his side, drawing Xavi Simons out of position. The moment Xavi pressed Shaw, space opened up on the left side. Bryan Mbeumo dropped deep to receive the ball, dragging Christian Romero out of the defensive line in the process. This movement created a large gap on the left flank for Patrick Dorgu to exploit. Mbeumo then quickly played the ball into Bruno Fernandes, who spotted Dorgu's forward run and released him into space. completely bypassing Tottenham's press. Just like that, Manchester United turned Tottenham's aggression against them, progressing upfield through intelligent positioning and quick passing combinations. Both sides had clear tactical plans. Tottenham focused on structured build-up and positional rotations to stretch United's defense, while Manchester United relied on intelligent pressing traps and quick transitions to exploit spaces behind Tottenham's high line. In the end, neither side fully dominated, and the 2-2 draw was a fair reflection of a tightly contested tactical battle. That's it for this tactical breakdown of Tottenham versus Manchester United. If you enjoyed the analysis, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment which team impressed you the most. See you in the next one.